Alrighty, we are live. We're out here in the backyard shooting slingshot archery range thing. I don't know why I said shooting archery, I guess is what I'm saying. Archery range, slingshot range, Atlatl range, my little backyard range. I'm yapping. Anyway, we're back here. It's quite overgrown because I've had a very busy summer and have not been here very often. I actually don't think I've spent a full weekend at my own house since May, which is nuts to say, but I think it's true. So archery range is a little overgrown, but we're going to be doing some Atlatl, some archery, getting back into the swing of things, and trying to get this bow sighted back in. I had to do some work on it for a while, and we're now back up and running with it. So trying to get that back and dialed in with the sighting, so we can get back to work with it. I'm actually going to go buy my new compound bow Thursday, so I'll be mixing in both of them for a little while before fully transitioning to the new bow. And yeah, good stuff. Got to get some practice in today and hopefully have an enjoyable live. Raptor Will's in here, our first chatter of the day. Thanks for coming in, Will. Will is an awesome member of the channel, and he's always hanging around when I do lives and always commenting on the videos. He's a really great supporter, and I've met him in person. He's a great dude. So, all right. As I said, I put the in the thumbnail, if you look at it, I put the darts for the Atlatl that I built. I put some recurve arrows and I put compound arrows. That was before I realized that, oh crap, I'm gonna have to spend my time using the archery stuff sighting in the compound bow, so I won't have enough time to do both the recurve and the compound. So I'm just using the compound, even though there's also recurve arrows in the thumbnail. But you know, it's okay. Some people probably didn't even realize. First things first, I'm gonna put the target, that one, downrange. So Will says, I try. You do a good job. 20 people in here, randomly popping in. All right, so hopefully you can see it right there. We have my old recurve target. I just used the yellow and green target down at the end for both my recurve and my compound nowadays. But I kept the old one around for my Atlatl. That shorter target's for the Atlatl. Longer target is for the compound. I'm gonna start with the compound, just because, I don't know, I want to. Will says, I tried going fishing this morning at the Manasquan Reservoir, but it was way too windy, so I'm thinking of going tomorrow morning and then stopping by some places to see if they're hiring. Huh, well there you go. I wish you all the best in your pursuit of a little work there, Will. Will's a great dude, I imagine. He'd be pretty good at interviews, so. Alrighty, so the deal with this is it is not sighted in like at all, because I retuned the bow and put a new string on, tied on a new D loop, reset the height of my peep sight. So like everything's off and I have no idea where the sighting is, so it's going to take a while for me to figure this out. Okay, so I put the middle pin on the middle of the target down there. Left and right's really good. It was a good shot, and it's like 8 or 9 inches high. What that means is that the top pin, which is our 20-yard pin, which is about what we're shooting, should be close. So maybe it's not as far off as I thought. We're gonna try again, see what we can do with the top pin. I just wanted to be conservative and go for the middle pin and not do anything crazy. I thought no matter what, if it was the sight was too high, sight was too low, middle pin should at least hit the target, and it did. So yeah, the bow's all retuned, brand new string on, new D-loop. I actually designed and 3D printed these new spacers so that this bow, which is from 1996, can use modern new age strings. So yeah, I designed these pieces and the bow's back to functioning and working the right way. A little bit to the right, which is me, and a tad low, which I think is the actual sight. So yeah, Will says that's neat. Yeah, I was really happy with this. I'm going into mechanical engineering, so I guess it's good that I'm good at stuff like this. But essentially, if you can see this little loop, the old spacers that were in here were shaped in such a way that the new loops, which have a smaller diameter than older style loops did, the spacers wouldn't actually fit in here. But as you can see, it is needed to get it to the string to split and go to the limb here and here. So you need the spacer, you can't just get rid of it. So I had to design something that was A, gonna make it go to the right angle, B, gonna be able to fit this through the hole, and C, actually designed in such a way that it's strong enough to take the pressure put on it by the bow, because this thing's constantly under load, and then it's even under more load when you draw it back. So it took a little thinking and a little design work, but obviously it worked out. So let's put another one down there, and then we can start sighting in this pin to a good spot. Okay, so that one was not good. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. It almost feels like that was yeah, I think I know what happened. It's gonna take me forever to explain what happened, but I think I know. Let's try the same thing and fix whatever I think just happened. Yeah, all right. We got it fixed. So here's how this is gonna work. I'm gonna do, I don't know how many arrows I have in that. I think it's 5 or 6. I'm gonna do all those arrows and then to pick up my 2 Atlatl darts, do the throws down there, and then go collect everything and repeat the process. There you go. All right. Now for the Atlatl, which I've actually never done on live to this point. I made a whole video about the making of it and me testing it out, but I've never thrown it on live before. Here we go. Essentially how this works, if you haven't seen the video, this handle is like an extra joint in your arm. So the way I describe how it works and gives you an advantage over just picking up and throwing the spear is, imagine if you tried to throw a baseball, but your hand wasn't at 2 arm lengths or 4 arm lengths. It was just here. So as fast as you could throw it, as fast as you could rotate your elbow like that, versus using all this extra joint, all this extra length to throw the baseball. It obviously gives you more power, more speed. And this is essentially like adding another joint to your arm, gives you more power and speed. Hooks in there, throw it like this. Isaac says hi, how's it going? So yeah, and then you essentially hold it like this, push forwards using that extra joint, and let go, let it fly. It's a pretty cool little system. They've been around before bows and arrows were, and yeah, it's pretty fun. Aiming for that closer target, that one right there. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so I hit the tree right there. That's something we're gonna have to contend with. It was a good line, except I should probably stand a little bit further this way and try and get a little bit more low flying straight shot. So I don't know if you guys can see, but that is just low and just right of the target. It's stuck, leaned it against a stump, and it's stuck kind of like in the crevice between the ground and the stump. Obviously not a bad little targeting point there, or not a bad little aim job there. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Words aren't doing well for me today, but yeah, not a bad throw. Hopefully next time we can get some contact on the target. I'm gonna go collect all my projectiles. All right, going back to the bow. The blue guy says hi. Hello. Obviously, we have a very, well, it's from 1996, but a generally modern type of bow in the compound. It's not like a war bow or a long bow or a recurve bow, nothing like that, or even an old-fashioned crossbow. It's a compound bow, more modern. And then we have like the first type of spear throwing projectile in the Atlatl. So we're two ends of the spectrum here. It's consistently both low and a little bit left, or a little bit right. I'm trying to figure out if the kicking it to the right part's me or not. If I do this whole group and it's all to the right, then obviously it's not me and I gotta adjust the sight. It might be the sight, I don't know. I mean, that one's almost exactly in the same spot. They're within half an inch of one another. I think the sight's a little bit kicked off to one side, not me. We'll see. A couple more shots and then we'll figure it out. Yet again, almost in the exact same spot. I'm more and more confident that it's the sight. I mean, I'm almost scared to shoot in the same spot. If I shoot in that same spot again, it's very likely that I damage one of my arrows, but I'll do it just for the sake of it. I'm not going to shoot that last one, just because that's definitely getting risky. I mean, they're all really close. Let's go show you this. So, I said they were all right, and they're all really close. Sorry, I had a little connection issue. Hopefully it's not too bad right here. Hopefully you can see what's going on, but very, very consistent grouping. They're all low and all to the right, so that's we're gonna have to fix that. All right, let's do our 2 throws with the Atlatl, then go collect all that. Forgot that when I walk down there with the camera, the connection gets a little bit iffy. I gotta remember that. As I said, I haven't been back here for a while because we've been traveling so much. All right, 2 throws with the Atlatl. Alrighty. Number 1. Just right, just over top. A little bit lower, a little bit to the left. And maybe on it. Boom, contact. Hopefully you saw that. That was contact. What the? Okay. Yeah, 2 good throws with the Atlatl. Hopefully someone saw that. If Raptor Will's in here, my member, he can put out the bullseye emoji in chat. It wasn't quite a bullseye, but that was pretty good. There's maybe 4 inches left of a bullseye. Maybe 5 or 6, but it was pretty close. It was at least within that much. I gotta reset the chat, make sure. All right, we're reconnected. All right, I'm back. Hopefully that worked. My chat isn't chatting. Sometimes that happens. I don't know why, but like it just freaks out and then none of the chats show up for a minute. Hopefully everybody's still there. Alrighty, hold on here a minute. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's adjust the sight. As you saw, the whole group was low and right. So if the whole group is low, what that means is that the whole sight housing is too high. The reason why that is because if the sight housing is too high, you have to bring the whole bow and angle it lower to get it to hit in the same spot. Therefore, if we move the whole sight housing down, if we move the whole sight housing down, I won't have to angle it down quite as much to get the pins on target, and thus it'll bring everything up just a little bit because this is maintaining the same angle. So yeah, we got to bring the sight housing down. Let's do that. I've got my tools in my pocket. I forget whether this is in metric or English. I mean, it's an American-made product, so I'm gonna take a guess and say it's in English. It's my metric one. Here's the English one. I need to bring the sight housing down. All right, let's see. That's too big. I don't know the size that this wrench is supposed to be. That's too big. It is English. I just bumped it down a lot. We'll tighten that up and try a couple shots, see if we can get it in a better spot, and then we'll adjust as needed. It's that one. I'm just going to leave it open so I don't have to think about it. 25 people in here, 7 thumbs up. Someone leave me a chat so that I know my chat's not broken. Sometimes it does that. I'm going to reconnect. Stay with me for 2 seconds. I'm back. And nobody's still chatting. So I don't know, maybe people just aren't chatty today. Alrighty. Let's see if that fixes our height. If it does, oh, Will's here. Thanks, Will. If it does fix our height, then we'll adjust our left and right, because obviously that was an issue as well. If you weren't here a minute ago, we had an entire group that was low and right, so we're trying to fix that. Can't quite tell what's going on down there. I'm watching and listening while doing other things. That's fine, Will. You might be the only one in here who likes to chat. That's okay, though. I think I'm still low and right, so might have to adjust the sight more. I'm going to do a whole group. You can't base your assessment on that based upon one shot, because it could be you. But if the whole group is in the same spot and it's off target, then it's not you. Sos toro. Something about a bull. What about a bull? I know some Spanish. If you said somos toro, I'd think you're like rooting for a team called the Bulls, and you're like, we're the Bulls, like Penn State. We are Penn State. I don't know, but sos toro, I don't know what that means. Yeah, I think I'm still low and right. A slang relating to good performance. Huh. I don't know. Toro means bull. Good performance. Well, sweet. Yeah, I'm trying to get this sighted back in. I reset up the whole bow recently, put a new string on it, tied in this peep, tied in this little D-loop. I built these spacers, 3D printed them, because the strings I had didn't fit. This is an old bow, and I'm trying to put modern strings on it. So I had to redesign this and 3D print it, and trying to get it sighted back in with all the new stuff on it. So we're moving around the site today. And based upon that grouping, we're a little bit less low, but we're still low. So I gotta move the sight housing down a little bit more. And we're still right, which I guess means if we're on target and we're right, that means that the sight is kicked right more than it should be. So, wait, is that true? Yes. So I gotta kick the sight left and down to hopefully fix it. Let's do a little bit more adjustment, and then we'll see if that fixes our grouping. So, I'm gonna kick it to right there. and then loosen up this, and I'm supposed to kick it. It is right, and I have to kick it left. Yeah. Do that. Whoa, that was way too much. We'll go right there. Alright, we'll give that a shot. But first, Atlatl. A couple of throws with this. Aiming for that closer target right there. That one. I don't know if you saw that, but it bounced off. It was a little bit high and right. The tip missed it, and then the back hit it and bounced off that way. So slightly off target, but pretty close. That one was low, but left and right was pretty good, just low. It hit the ground before it got there. Trying to do it through the trees is a good challenge, because when you just can bring it up and chuck it at whatever, and you don't have to worry about like missing the tree branches. You don't really have to worry about like how archy your shot is. You have to make it pretty line drive straight when you're trying to avoid branches. So good challenge. Let's go grab all that and rinse and repeat. All right. Alrighty. Let me know if anybody saw that last Atlatl throw. We're gonna see if my adjustments to the sight did anything. I'm a little bit too high and I'm still to the right. Interesting. Might have moved the sight housing too far. But as I said, we can't make a judgment based upon one shot. You got to take the whole group and see with the consistent result, what the consistent directional stuff is. Cole Region Explorers in. Hello, Cole Region. Thanks for stopping in. Cole Region's a great guy. Met him in person at the Random Adventures 2.0 creator meetup. Awesome dude. He does a lot of e-biking, a lot of general exploring, documenting different places. Cool channel. So I think my assessment of which way I needed to move the sight housing was wrong somehow in left and right, but it was definitely good up and down. I'm pretty close. I think I need to actually shift it back the other way a little bit, back up. And I think I need to shift the sight housing. this way, all the way. I'm going to finish this group and then judge my next course of action based upon the group as a whole. But yeah. 2 shots in, and that's kind of looking like what I'm going to have to do here. Jolted that one. Hit the trigger too hard. That's my bad. Luckily, I know where that arrow is. I don't know why. I guess it's because I'm out of practice. I'm having trouble doing a surprise release, which helps you to get more consistent shots without jolting it. I'm having to like command release it to get good shots off, or else I'm like super jittery. It's what happens when you don't practice consistently for like 2 months because you travel all over the place. Very consistent in the shots that were good. It's too far right and it's a little tad high. So let's make a couple adjustments. Take the wrench. And then this, I was shooting too low, which meant the sight housing was too high. Yes. So, and now we're too high, which means the sight housing's too low. Got to bring it up just a tad. We're pretty darn close on height. The new sight that I bought for the new bow, which I'm getting on Thursday, has micro adjust, which means it's a lot easier to adjust. You can get more precise with it. I'm really excited to get that new bow set up, but I still haven't finished the video relating to this one. This one I got for free. It's an old bow. I set the whole thing up myself and essentially learned how to shoot a compound with this. I just shot recurve before I had this. So I still got to use this one to finish out that video. But once I get dialed in on that new setup, it's going to be a good time. This bow has a lot of stuff that isn't ideal for the way I shoot. And I would set up a lot differently if I had the option, but I don't. So getting that new bow is going to be really fun. All right, shorter range target, that one with the Atlatl. Let's give it a shot. Just over top. Ozark's Woodsman is in. Hopefully you saw that shot with the Atlatl. Ozark's Woodsman has an Atlatl and a couple bows. So this lies right up his alley. Boom, stuck it in there. Hopefully you can see that. It's in the target. Nice. I'm actually slightly, I'm going to choose my words wisely, disappointed in the way YouTube decided to update the highlight feature, because it used to upload an unlisted video that said the segments, said like the where it was in the live to where it was in the live. So then when I went and put timestamps in it, I just used those to make timestamps and then delete them. So I could easily find where the timestamp was, and now it doesn't do that. So not ideal. Don't love that, because now it just makes a short that does not say where it's from. Wish they'd change that back, or at least give you the option to change it back. But yeah. All right, let's go collect everything and do it again. Thanks, Woodsman. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's a man who can appreciate what I'm doing today, because, you know, he's got all this stuff and shoots them himself, and I guess throws them himself. Alrighty. Eventually I'm gonna get a new release, but I'm rocking with the $20 True Fire Patriot right now. I've been looking at a Stan Solex. They're expensive. I've been looking at a couple nicer True Ball ones. What I think I still want to shoot a wrist release, just because I shoot it for target stuff, shoot it for 3D stuff, but it also, if I took it hunting, I wouldn't have to change my release. I can have one release for everything, which I think I'm gonna like, as long as I can get it dialed in the right way. But this double jaw leaves a little bit inconsistency, because it might like bump off one. I've heard people talk about this. I don't know this, I'm just repeating what other people have said. If you have a double jaw as it's opening, it kind of biases towards one side or the other, and kind of pulls off this way or pulls off this way as you're releasing the string. Whereas if you have a single jaw clamp that opens up, it always does the same thing. So I think I'm gonna want a single jaw clamp wrist release is what I'm gonna be looking for. That's less than $100. That's what I'm gonna look for. But for now, I'm still rocking with this, even with the new bow setup that I'm gonna buy on Thursday. So yeah, I already have the sight. I already have one of my 2 stabilizer bars. The other one's back ordered, but it's supposedly still coming. Got my sight, got that. Gonna have to get a new bow case, but they're like 35 bucks. The Plano ones, I'm just gonna get the basic Plano one that everybody gets. I need a new wrist sling, but they're cheap. And then I think I'm gonna use this whisker biscuit, and then just get a cheaper whisker biscuit from Amazon to put on this bow until I'm done the video with it. Like, it just is what it is. I'm not gonna be shooting that bow for much longer after this, and then we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do with it. I'm either gonna turn it into a bow fishing setup, which I think would be kind of cool. Do a transformation and turn it into a recurve, because it is a compound bow with recurve style limbs. So if I just turned it into like a modern recurve, that'd be kind of cool. Or I'll give it to someone. This was my girlfriend's dad's bow back when he shot target archery competitively, and he has no desire to get it back. He doesn't shoot at all anymore. So yeah, it's working, so don't sweat it, right? Yeah, for now. I mean, it's not what I would prefer to have, but it works. And I'm gonna spend money on the whole bow setup, which I think is gonna be a much bigger upgrade than getting a new release. So we'll get there eventually. And yeah, it'll be a fun thing to talk about when I do that. Can't do it all at once, or we can't have fun stuff to talk about. All right, let's see if the adjustments to the sight worked. I am a woodsman. I got this reset up. I put a new string on it, tied back in the peep myself, tied in a D-loop myself. What else did I do? Oh, I designed and 3D printed these spacers for modern strings. The old strings were designed differently, and they were custom to PSE, so you couldn't just buy them. You'd have to buy them from PSE, because this bow's from 1996. They don't really make them anymore. So I designed this so this would actually work with modern strings. I reset up the whole bow, and retuned it, and now we're trying to get it back and sighted back in. So that's today's goal for the bow. All right, let's see if our previous adjustments worked. That's a heck of a lot closer. that bow would be great for bow fishing. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards as far as what I do with it afterwards. The problem is that because this case is huge, because it's a recurve limb bow, I then have 3 bows in the house, and it's, you know, I'm 18, I still live with my parents, it's not my house. I don't want to like take up too much space, but that's what I'm leaning towards. I wouldn't use it very often, so maybe I could stick it up high on a shelf in the shed, and then only pull it out when I need to, and then have the normal compound bow readily accessible at all times. Because like, how many times am I going to go bow fishing here? I don't know, maybe 5. Whereas just shoot the bow normally, I'm looking to do it at least once a week. So I think this one's going to move out of the closet and into the shed if I did that. That's kind of the general idea. I don't know if you can tell, Ozarks, but I actually, in my process of doing this, the old bows don't have near as much adjustment as the new ones do. So I messed around with some string and cable length, and I actually effectively shortened the draw length by almost an inch. My actual draw length is like 26 3/4, just between 26 and a half and 27, so about 26 3/4. This was at 28, which was way too long for me and was causing some string slap issues and some stuff that really wasn't needed. As you've seen today in the live, I have not been worried about string slap, and I've been doing just fine because my form is good and this draw length's actually at a good level for me. It's still a little bit long, it's like 27 and a half, but the difference between 28 and 27 and a half when you're shooting for 26 3/4 is a lot. 28's really long for me. So yeah, you can remove the fishing rig from it as well. Yeah, I'm leaning towards that. I think that'd be really cool to set this up as a bow fishing thing, and then that'd be nice because my girlfriend's dad would still get to see it get use in its original form. Like, other than I replaced the rest, replaced the sight, redesigned this, put new strings on it, like, this is still the original bow from 1996 that he shot in tournaments. So that's pretty cool. And if I put recurve limbs on it or got rid of it, he wouldn't get to see it in use, or wouldn't get to see it in use in its original form. So I'm leaning towards that. It's always nice to see your stuff get appreciated. So yeah, leaning towards a bow fishing rig. And also, if you're on a boat or on land, having a bow that's really long really doesn't matter as much as if you're, you know, trying to use it for normal bow activities. So I think this would actually be a nice bow to have. It's really stable because of the long axle to axle length. I think that's a good idea. And obviously I wouldn't need the bow case as much because I'd only have like 1 or 2 bow fishing arrows. So I might even get rid of the case. The case is kind of old. It's kind of junky. It's what I have that fits this bow. It'd be like a lot of money to get one that fits this bow because they don't make them anymore if I had to just buy one. But if I didn't do that and I just had the bow, it'd take up a lot less space as well. So just the bow and the fishing rig would be nice. And if I don't know how bow fishing works really, because I haven't looked into that as much, but would I need the peep or the sight or anything? Because you're just kind of intuitively aiming from a really short distance, right? I think. Let me know. So I just keep a whisker biscuit. I think I'd keep a whisker biscuit and a sling with the fishing kit on there, and then I'd be good to go. If I am being correct there, let me know. I also mentioned this before, but this bow, because I shortened the draw length even more with the strings, this bow's like, it was at 48, it's probably 44 pound compound bow now. This thing is light as all get out. I can like, I don't know, I am so in control of this bow because it's super light, which is kind of cool. But I think I'm going to set, when I get the new compound on Thursday, I think I'm going to have it set to 65 is what I'm going to have it set to. This is like 44, and it's so light, it's ridiculous. Optional, I would keep the peep for sure. Okay, I'll have to look into it more, but I'm heavily leaning towards making this a bow fishing setup when I get the new bow. Because this would be perfect for a bow fishing setup. Um, yeah, this would be perfect for a bow fishing setup. And the other stuff would be kind of just like a project to make it something else or just to give it away to someone. But I think it's almost ready to use as a bow fishing setup now if I wanted to. So I can adjust the pins for shooting into the water as well. I've seen people do both. All right, that's cool. Because I have a new sight, as I mentioned, that I'm putting on the new bow. So I won't have use for the sight other than like a backup. So keeping the sight on there and in use would be nice as well. I'm liking this idea. What bow am I getting? I'm not quite sure. I'm going to Lancaster Archery Supply on Thursday morning. My girlfriend is moving into her dorm on Friday, and they live in Elizabethtown. So if you are familiar with Pennsylvania, Elizabethtown's out towards the middle, and so is Lancaster. It's kind of on the way. So I'm going to stop at Lancaster Archery Supply in the morning on Thursday as I'm going up there. And I'm going to try out a couple. The one that I'm targeting, I have a couple in my back burner that I've already shot and like if I don't like this one. But I shot a Elite Basin and I liked it. But there were a couple things about like it wasn't as tunable, and people said that the timing on it came out easily. But I liked the Basin, and it's really adjustable. So the like big boy bow of the Basin, because it's like a youth to adult bow, and the full adult version is called the Terrain, has a different cam system, which would mean it probably doesn't have as much issues being tuned. That's the Elite Terrain. That's the one I think I'm gonna get because I really liked the Elite Basin, but there were some technicality issues with it. But Elite Basin or Elite Terrain is the one I think I'm gonna get. I've shot a Hoyt Torex and liked it. Hoyt RX9, yeah, that's a little bit more than I want to spend. I'm not like a super serious archer, and you can get some really good stuff for that mid-range. RX9's a little bit above me, but Hoyt Torex is my secondary option that I think I would get if I don't get the Terrain. I shot a couple bears and they were fine, but I didn't like the grip or the draw cycle as much as I liked the Hoyt or the Elite. So I think I'm gonna go with the Hoyt Torex or an Elite Terrain. A bear legit. I shot a bear. I shot a bear Alaskan XT, and I shot a bear. What's the other one? Paradigm. I shot those two from bear. I shot an Elite Basin on a Hoyt Torex while I was there. I skipped on shooting the PSE Brute is the one I skipped out on in my price range, and I also skipped out on. I want something with a little bit longer axle to axle, so I've heard really, really good things about the Dart and Consequence, but it's too short for what I want. So like, I might be missing out on a really good bow, but I know what I want, and I'm not going to get the Dart and Consequence. Haven't even shot it. I know I'm not getting that. It's too short. It's 29 and a half. I want something over 31 inch axle to axle. So it is what it is. It's not that big of a difference, but you know, you got to make sacrifices somewhere and try and figure out what you want. I think I'm going to end up doing the Elite Terrain, but Hoyt Torex is my second option. So yeah, I think I'm going to have it set at 65 pounds, probably 27 inch draw length. 65 pounds Elite Terrain is what I'm looking for. I'm going to go in there, say, can I shoot the Terrain? And if I like it, then I'm going to buy it. And if I'm like, I don't know, I'm going to compare it to the Torex, and then it'll be between those two. If I go in there and immediately like it, I'm getting the Terrain. Make it easy. My budget's about anything less than $800 is in my wheelhouse. I already have all the accessories for it and all that, so we should be good to go. Just going to walk in there and see what happens on Thursday morning. So, but this, because you seem to know what you're talking about, your name is the brand of the arrows. I've got Easton 6.5 arrows on this. This is an old PSE. It's from 1996, and I've been shooting this for a little bit, just kind of learning my way around compound bows. I've shot recurve for a while, but this is my first compound bow, and now I'm going to be getting one that suits my needs a little bit better. This is super long axle to axle. It's like 45-inch axle to axle. It's slow. It's not a hunting bow. Obviously, it's blue. It's a target style bow. So I want something a little bit different, but I think as we were talking about earlier, I'm going to transition this into a bow fishing setup once I get that new bow, whatever it is, either the Hoyt or the Elite. Been shooting a diamond bow. Yeah, I liked some of the diamond stuff, but they almost all are 29 or 28 inch axle to axle. Which, as I said, there's nothing wrong with that, but like, I kind of want something a little bit longer, so I just narrowed my search options to that. There's good stuff no matter where you look nowadays. You don't have to spend a ton to get a good bow, and I had to limit my search options somehow, and that's one of the ways I did that. Below 800 bucks, over 30, at least over 30, preferably over 31 inch axle to axle, adjustable between 60 and 70 pounds. That's some of the stuff I look for. Easy to work on because I love working on my own stuff. Obviously, I 3D printed and designed this spacer so I could run modern strings with this old bow, because the old strings that were on it are very different from modern strings. So I built this spacer, this yoke spacer. I designed and built that myself. I restrung it, put the peep on it, tied the D-loop in myself. I re-shimmed the sight because the mounting plate that came with it did not, like, we didn't know where it was when I got the bow. We couldn't find it, so I had to build a shim set that made the sight work with it. I've essentially worked on this whole bow myself, and I really like that part. I'm going to go into college for mechanical engineering, so I guess that makes sense. So I definitely wanted something that was tunable myself as well, which a lot of bows actually are hard to tune by yourself. What sight are you going to run? I'm running a Trophy Ridge Trilogy 3-pin slider, which for me, I think is really nice. A lot of people either want a single pin slider or a double pin slider, or they want a fixed 3-pin or a fixed 5-pin. I wanted something in between because I'm going to use that bow for 3D shooting, just target archery, and hopefully eventually hunting as well. So I wanted something that could do everything. It's essentially a fixed 3-pin system like this one, but then the entire housing is on a slider and moves up and down, and you use the bottom, your 40-yard pin, which is what I'll set it for. Your bottom pin, which mine will be 40, you use that as your slider and build sight tape for that. So yeah, it's a $100 sight. I like it so far. Redline brand, I paid like $150 for it, and it felt cheap and broke. Yeah, I was looking. Redline has a 3-pin slider as well available, and I looked at it and almost bought it, and people said that it was cheap and flimsy and broke. And then I found that Trophy Ridge Trilogy, the reason why it's not very popular is because you can't get it in stores. It's only on Trophy Ridge's website, but I found a couple really good reviews. It had what I wanted. I bought it, and I really like it. I haven't shot with it yet, but it has all the features I want. Feels really well built. It's definitely not going to fall apart. It's all aluminum. There's no plastic on it like up front, so it's really good. CBE 3-pin slider is good. Looked at that one too. The Tactic. That's what it's called. The CBE Tactic. Looked at that one. That was my secondary option, but ended up getting the Trilogy. So I really like it so far. Can't wait to get it on the new bow and try it out. Probably going to get that for deer season. The CBE 3-pin. Yeah, that's definitely not a bad option. That was my second option. The reason why I picked this over that, they were very similar, except this one was about 40 bucks less, and they were both USA made, and I'm like, 40 bucks less, I'm just going to run this one, and so far I think it's good. Yeah, I mean, sighting on this is still a little bit off, but we're a lot closer than we were when we started. I actually need to, if I'm still hitting right, that means this is kicked left. I need to kick the whisker biscuit that way a little bit. Is your draw length short? No, my draw length's actually about ½ an inch long. I don't know if it's the camera angle, but here, I'll show you what the draw length looks like. Draw length's definitely not short. It's a little bit long, actually. There you go. The way you can tell it's long, which it's hard to tell, is my shoulder should be like, here, I'll just do it this way. My shoulder should not be in line with my body. It should be slightly kicked this way, because then your elbow is actually in line with the bow, and mine is behind me a little bit, which makes me overextend. Kind of like, here, I'll do it dramatically. It makes me go like this and open up too much. So I'm kind of opening a little bit too far. It should be like here, so I don't have to open quite as much. But yeah, it's about 1/2 inch long on this bow. You can't adjust these old bows as much. I shoot 68 pounds, 27-inch draw. Yep, I'm about 27-inch draw. This is at about 27 and a half. I debated. I mean, I can draw 80 pretty easy. I'm a quite strong dude. That's not cocky to say. I guess I'm well above average strength, but I decided, because most of the year I'm going to be shooting it target style, like 100 shots in a couple hours, just going out there for a couple hours and rocking it on the range. I decided to not like max out at like 70 or something like that. I'm going to put it at 65, because I can, do that for a long time, target shooting, and still be good, but it's still good enough to go hunt with it as well. If I was primarily a hunter, I would have probably done 70, maybe even 75 if the bow had that option. But since I'm primarily going to target shoot with it, I'm gonna run 65, I think. So this bow is really light, because, as I said, old bows aren't as adjustable, and I had to do some wacky things to get it to my draw length, because it's set for 28, and obviously I'm shorter than that. No, it's set for 29. So I had to do some wacky things to get it short, and that made the bow drop and draw weight. This is at about 45, so this is like really light. Are you going to deer hunt with it? Eventually, but probably not in the first year. So, as I said, I just started compound bow shooting in March of this year. Just started shooting the compound this year. So I definitely want to get a little bit more accustomed with the gear that I'd actually hunt with before I go do it, because I'd be getting it in September and then running out also, or getting it in late August, running out in September to go try and hunt deer with it. I think I'll give it at least a year before I try and do that, because this bow is definitely going to be a lot different from the one I'm going to buy. Yeah. Mama Mission is meeting a new neighbor, Sam, who wants to fish. Is this a small child? That is my mom. So 70% let off at full draw. Ozarks has his bow set 65 pounds, 28 inch, 70% let off at full draw. Yeah, I think 65 is a good number for me. As I said, I can draw 80. I can shoot 10 shots with 80 just fine. Can I shoot 20 shots with 80? No. So I feel like the good sweet spot for me, given that I'm going to be doing a lot of target shooting with it, lots of volume, is going to be 65, where I can manage it for a long time. But it's also, I don't have to like change the poundage to go hunt with it. I think that's going to be a good spot. Yeah, is this a small person, or is it like a person who I'd have a fishing buddy? So if you guys don't know, that's my mom. My neighborhood's back there. I'm in the woods, kind of back behind our neighborhood shooting. And I guess mom's letting me know that I might have someone to go fishing with. I don't know if that's a kid I'd be taking fishing, or if that's someone I'd be fishing with. I have no context. Yeah. Easton says I want to go fishing. Well, that's where this channel started. Where my whole journey with the outdoors started. Fishing, and then eventually came with it. Now I do camping, gold panning, hiking, Atlatl, bushcraft, archery. Sorry, I had a last connection there. Ted Nugent. A lot of it. Know why I decided to go with 65. My ego said, set it at 70 because I can. I could set it at 70 and I'd be fine, but that's not the point, is it? So I think 65 is going to be a really good number for me. I've done many feats of strength outside of archery. I don't need another one to add to my list. My most recent feat of strength was yesterday. I was at the lake I was hanging with my girlfriend, and we were trying to do this thing where like I pick her up and press her over my head in the water, and I got her up there and I held her for like 3 or 4 seconds completely over my head, like head pressed her. That was fun. I also swam almost half a mile yesterday to an island. That'll be in a short about kayak safety. I'm mostly gonna make some points about how to be able to swim. You should have your life jacket and talk about why, use some footage. And in my got to know how to swim, I'm gonna use the footage of me swimming half a mile to the island. It's not half a mile, it's like 600 meters, but close enough. It's a good poundage and easier to hold if needed. Yeah, for sure. I think I'm gonna like 65. I shot all the bows when I was testing it at Lancaster the first time. I shot them all at 60, and they were all too light. This, because it's older, does not have a very high let off. It's like 60. So 55 at this feels like 65 with all those bows. So it's a lot different for sure. I set them at 60 to be conservative, and they were all too light. I was like, oh boy, too light. So I'm gonna go 65. Hey, Hammock Mountain. Hammock Mountain, you'll like this one because you do a lot of self-camping. Last Thursday, like last week, I did my first ever kayak camp, and I slept on an island in the middle of the Schuylkill River, which was super cool. Sounds like something you'd end up doing. So I was a 12-mile trip, started 12 miles up river from my local boat launch in my hometown, and then went 8 miles the first day, slept on an island. 8 miles the second day, did a lot of fishing, did some cooking, all that sort of stuff. Sounds like something you'd end up enjoying. All right, a couple throws with the Atlatl, and then we'll maybe get one more set in before it gets a little bit too dim to continue. Holy crap, that one went far. So, don't know if you guys saw that throw. The tip hit high and right, and then the back end bounced off the target and it deflected way off to the right. Which, if you haven't noticed, because I'm using the selfie camera, everything's reversed. I say it went to the right. From your view, it went to the left. So, it was probably my most fun, like, camping trip style adventure that I've ever had. If there was another person with me, oh my gosh, that would be so fun. I have a buddy who might go with me the next time I do it. And, you know, I mean, just going for a camp by yourself is fun, and you can have a lot of enjoyment doing that, but I always love doing it with other people. So if I can get a buddy to go with me next time I do that, that'll be so good, so good. That one was not a good throw, about 2 feet to the right. Good height, just too far to the right. All right, let's go collect everything, give it one more set, and then we'll probably close down the live. It says I've only been going for 25 minutes on my phone. Obviously, that's some sort of glitch because that is not true. I've been going since before 7 o'clock, and it's 7:52. So I don't know what the heck it's saying. Oh wow, camera got dark. It's getting dark back here. We'll have time for one more set. We're obviously back in the trees, so there's less light back here than there actually is. So last set, and then I'll call it a live. Maybe I'll go back in the backyard and talk with you guys for a bit before it actually gets fully dark. All right, let's see what we can do. That one was a good shot. I'm kind of going rapid fire, which isn't like the best general habit to get into, but obviously it's getting dark pretty quick, so I'm gonna get off a couple shots and then move along. Two more arrows, 2 throws with the Atlatl. Then we'll go hang out for a little bit before it gets truly dark, and I'll come back here with the headlamp and collect my crap. Here you go. All right, one more arrow. What bow is that? I'm shooting an old Matthews MQ1. This is a PSE Mach 5 Carbon 2 from 1996. It's a target style bow. If you go on PSE's tune charts, you can find it. 1996 PSE Mach 5 Carbon 2. All right, that grouping was very consistent grouping. So, yeah. Yeah, definitely an old bow, Daniel. Really pretty old bow, but it was free. It was my girlfriend's dad's. He used to shoot competitively in target archery, so he gave it to me to get into compound bow shooting because he knew I shot recurve. I've been shooting this for a little bit, learning the ropes of how to tune stuff, how to shoot compound, what's the difference between recurve, and we're about to buy my first compound bow that I bought for me and for my needs. On Thursday, we're going to Lancaster Archery, gonna pick that up. It's gonna be super awesome. Just ordered a string for my Black Widow recurve. Just looked at my compound and needs the dust knocked off of it. Cable guide is cracked. Ooh, cable guide cracked, kind of stinks. It's interesting because when I started this, the first live I did with the compound bow, I just kind of knew the general mechanics of how it worked. But now that I've set up this whole bow, been shooting with it, I've had to put the strings on. I had to actually design the yoke spacer to make it work with modern cables, all that sort of stuff. I know all the bow lingo because I had to learn all that stuff and learn all about bow mechanics to, design my own piece and set up the strings and all that. Especially with the old cam system, I had to learn about all the differences between cam systems. It was a really interesting process. Can't wait for that video to come out. It's going to be a long one, but if you like bow stuff and you like being technical about it, it's going to be a really good video. All right, 2 throws with this, and then we'll go find some light for a couple minutes. Bounced off the tree, but it ended up in the target. Not sure if you guys can see that. One more throw. A little bit low, but bounced up and hit the target. Not a bad way to end it. We're throwing, that's probably about 50-foot throw, so not bad. Let's take you all up to where there's some light. Let me drop this down. Take you all up to where there's some light, and we'll hang out for a couple minutes. It's probably going to try and wig out and reconnect because I'm going to go back behind my house and it'll try and get off of data and onto the Wi-Fi for a second, so it'll freak out. Stay with me. Good little spot right here in the backyard. Oh yeah. Let me reconnect, make sure the cellular connection's good. All right, we're back. Diamond makes one you can adjust draw length and weight yourself. Yeah, the ones I'm looking at have that feature as well. As I said, I want to be able to tune it at home myself. That's a big thing in my credentials for which one I'm going to get. Hammock Mountain says, I bought a new compound but ended up with a new 10-point crossbow. I almost bought a new compound but ended up with a new 10-point crossbow instead. There you go. Yeah, I'm really excited about the new compound. I think it's going to get a lot of use, be a really good tool. And then I think I'm going to end up transitioning that older bow to a bow fishing setup, which I think will also be pretty nice. So yeah. Diamond Edge Max, I'm looking at it on Amazon. $469. Not bad. Yeah, Diamond makes good, more affordable stuff. It's not like budget, cheap stuff, but it's not like San Lita or whatever that makes like $300 bow packages and you're like, oh my gosh. But they make good, affordable stuff. It's just a lot of them are too short axle to axle for what I wanted. And, you know, as I said, you got to narrow down your choices somehow. And that's how I chose to do my narrowing down. One of the ways had to be adjustable yourself, easy to tune, 60 to 70 pounds, preferably above 30 or 31 inches axle to axle. Yeah. I think I'm going to be really happy with whatever I pick. I think I'd be happy with the Hoyt Torex. I think I might be more happy with the Elite Terrain, but I haven't shot it yet. I've just shot its little brother. So I'm going to go in there, shoot the Elite Terrain. And if I like it as much as I think I will, then I'm just going to get that one. If not, it's probably going to be the Torex. Or I might revisit some other bows if I decide at that moment I don't like the Torex. Because stuff can change depending on what draw length, draw weight, all that sort of stuff. So if I set it at 65 and decide I don't like it or something, or shoot the terrain, figure something out, decide, oh wait, maybe I won't like this about the Hoyt, then maybe I won't get that one. But I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. We're going to go on Thursday and find out. Here's the deal. Unless something crazy happens, like, oh, this is the bow I want, but they don't have it in store or whatever, then I will be with new bow in hand by Thursday. And I'll put it up at least for members, possibly for public. I mean, Ozarks Woodsman, I know you're close with Ozarks Great Adventure. The Ozarks are all buddy-buddy. So if I put it up for members, you can probably contact him, or 210, who's a member as well, and figure out what I got. Even if I don't put it up for public. I don't know if I will. I'll play it by ear. Yeah, this is so weird. It says I've been live for 35 minutes. I don't know. I think once you shoot out, you'll rethink that short bow idea. I did talk to a whole bunch of people. They said like, oh, like for example, there's the sequel, Dart and sequel. They have a 35-inch bow. They're like obviously don't do that. But like the one I'm looking at is 31.5 versus 29. They said it will make less difference in a tree stand than it does in your stability while shooting target. And I'm like, okay, I think I want that. They're like, I asked them, I said, do you think it's a bad idea if I'm going to shoot whitetails out of a tree stand to get, you know, a 31-inch bow as opposed to a 29-inch bow? And they said no. From a guy who shoots whitetails in Pennsylvania, he said, no, I don't think it's a bad idea, but it will help you if you do 3D archery courses. So I don't think I'm going to be upset whether I got a 29 or a 31 or something like that. I'm just throwing out numbers. I don't think I'd be upset either way. I think I would be happier if I got a little bit longer one. So I think that's what I'm going to lean towards. Yep. And then my girlfriend's dad, who gave me the target archery bow, did a lot of bow hunting then too. And if I start getting into my deer hunting journey, he has a climber stand that he said he'd give me. So, which would be super cool. Because I don't have private land around. A couple inches shouldn't make a difference. Yeah, he said it won't make a huge difference in either comfort, shooting out of a tree stand, or stability, but he said it would make more difference in stability, so I'm going to lean that way. I still shoot my old bow because it's big and super stable. Yeah, fair enough. That bow I was shooting is huge axle to axle. It's like 46 or something like that. Ridiculous. So that would be impractical to shoot out of a tree stand. Well, if that's someone screaming. If that's all I had, I mean, I guess I could do that. But also that is blue, so like that's the one color that deer can actually see, so that would be terrible as an idea. But like 46 versus 29, that would make a difference. But 29 versus 31 or 32, probably not. Plus, a lot of the land that I might be shooting on anyway might be up towards my grandparents because of like what we do up there and who I know. Like a lot of my grandparents on my dad's side, a lot of their family deer hunts, and I might end up doing it from like farm fields, which some people frown upon, but like it doesn't make much difference to me. It's still cool to get one with a bow. So like I might end up doing some like more open stuff, shooting from a ground blind, which that would be cramped, or like even just kind of standing on the edge of the woods and doing stuff. I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like whatever I get will work is the main premise. There's some good stuff out there nowadays. So, I think I'm going to have a new video coming out tomorrow. I've been tirelessly working on the gold panning video. And it has been taking forever. It's a really big production. It's several months of footage. A lot of information to put in there. I've been working on it. I'm about 80% done it, but it's already taken up 12 or 13 hours of editing time, and I've probably got 5 more at least. So I took a break from that and then spent 7 hours and edited essentially the entirety of my Tennessee multi-species madness video. I've got about half an hour left to do. I think I'm going to do that tonight, and I'm going to post that video for a premiere tomorrow evening, and then get back to the gold panning video. It's just been taking so long that I was like, I got to take a break from it, do something else. Got the whole Tennessee video done in like half the time it's going to take me to finish the gold panning video. So I ripped through that one, and there you go. Hunting is hunting, and all methods are good. Assuming it's legal, then yeah, I agree with that statement. I just measured mine. It's 34, and it's good in the climbing stand. Yeah, perfect. So if I get a 32, which is I think what I'm going to get, 31 or 32, I should be fine. Some people don't have woods to hunt. True. Yeah. Yeah, so a little bit of sighting back in with the bow. I don't know if I mentioned this on a live yet. Probably I haven't, because I don't think I've done an archery live in a while. The local range that I shoot at frequently is under construction. The construction, like what they're doing, looks really awesome. Adding more targets. They're putting overhead pavilions there so you can shoot in the rain and the snow. Some really, really awesome stuff that they're doing at that range, but the construction was supposed to be done in late June. It's still not done, and it's, mid-August. It's past halfway in August. It's still not done, which is going to make finishing the video, sighting the bow back in, hard, because I don't have access to that range for a while. I don't know what that's going to entail, but I don't have access to that range probably at least until September, and then everyone's going to be there sighting their bows for deer season. So archery might be a little bit weird here for a couple months, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to have a new bow to play with, so regardless of how much I get to shoot it, it should be fun playing with the new stuff. My Matthews is 37 axle to axle. I hunt from a stand. Yeah. So people make a whole big deal about like you shouldn't have long bows in a stand, but everything I'm looking for is shorter than both of what you guys have said, and that's on the longer side. So 32 I think is not going to be a big deal at all then. Yeah, because most of the stuff I've been looking at is between 28 and 33, and I'm erring on the side of 31 or more is kind of what I'm looking at, just so that I have that little extra stability, if possible. I feel like 28 is really short, like really short. Especially jumping from like a 46, because that has recurve limbs on it. 46 to a 28 would be a crazy, crazy jump. That's like almost a 20-inch jump. I think it's what you get used to shooting. Yeah, and I'm used to shooting 46, so erring on the longer side is probably closer to what I'm used to anyway. Yeah. Yep, I'm really, I after this live talking to you guys, I think transitioning that bow to a bow fishing setup is going to be a really cool idea, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So, yeah. Most definitely legal methods, yeah. Hey, Rod. We were doing some archery and Atlatl stuff, and it has started to get dim, so I came out of the woods to where there's a little bit more light, and we're just hanging out for a couple more minutes before I close down the live. Then I'm gonna finish up a video for tomorrow. Rod Wilson is primarily found me through fishing content, especially through collaboration with Bob. That's how I think Rod found me. So Rod will be excited for tomorrow's video. We got Tennessee Multi-Species Madness coming out tomorrow. I've said this publicly now, so I guess I have to get it done. But I don't have too much longer, so I'd say go for it. 32 is a good size. Yeah, the Hoyt is 30, and the Elite is 32. So the Elite's the one I think I'm gonna get, but obviously you never know until you go in there and see what happens. But I'm really excited for it. I already have the sight. Already have one of my stabilizer bars. I'm just going to continue shooting my Easton 6.5s with it, the same arrows I shot for this bow. What else? I'm going to have to get a new bow case for it, but they're like 40 bucks, so that's not too big of a deal. Yeah. Really, really, really excited for it. I had a big check that was specifically for tuition purposes from my grandparents, and then everybody else who gave me smaller amounts for my grad party, I said, hey, anything I get from grad money, I'm going to put towards the new bow. So I got, which obviously I'm not saying who I got it from and where, like there were quite a few people, so like this isn't like, you know, singling anybody out, because I think that's a mean thing to do, like talk publicly about who specifically gave you how much money for an event. But between all the different people who gave me grad money, I ended up with like 900 bucks for the bow, and then a separate amount that's specifically for tuition stuff for college. And that was kind of the money that I'm using to build out this bow setup. So I'm looking at about an $800 bow, and then like all my accessories put together for the extra money. It comes out to a little bit more than that, but you know, I was kind of looking in that price range, and some of the bows that I liked, I was looking at the $700 price range, but the ones that I liked were $750. So, I mean, 50 extra bucks and get one that I like a whole lot more, I guess I'll do it. So, I feel like you're leaning to that Elite. I am. I think that's the one I like. I shot its little brother, as I said, the Basin, and I really liked it. They're the exact same riser. The riser's dead the same. The limbs are dead the same. It's a different cam system, and that is the one and only difference. I I think I'm really going to lean towards that elite, and unless it like really surprises me when I go in there and shoot it, I think I'm gonna get it. Because in theory, if it's the same riser and the same limbs, the only difference should be the draw cycle. And I've heard people say that it's like they compared it to different draw cycles of bows that I shot when I was there testing stuff, and I'm like, I have a good idea of what I think it's going to feel like in comparison to the stuff that they were comparing it against, because I shot those bows too, and I think I'm going to like it, but I got to go in there and figure it out. Daniel, did you go like look up a picture of it? I think that's kind of what I'm gathering from your comment. But yeah, I like it. I held that riser with that set of limbs in my hand. I just haven't shot that setup with the cam system that's on the terrain. I've shot the cam system that was on the basin, which is more adjustable and a little bit different, a little bit harder to tune, and it's a little bit like more comfortable draw cycle. But the Hoyt is a more aggressive draw cycle, and supposedly, from what I've heard, it's less aggressive than the Hoyt. So I think it'll be fine. I think I'll like it. I'll take you guys into the garage for a couple more minutes because we're having some good conversation, and then I'll close this out because it's definitely getting super dim now. Let's see, did my dad come back? Oh yeah, my dad's back. Sweet. He was out biking today. Hold on for one moment. I looked at them last month. Oh, there you go. Here you go. All right. Yeah, and then I know Woodsman's seen it, but Hammock Mountain, I don't know if you have. This is the recurve bow I typically shoot, which is also really old. This is from 1969. This is I forget the name, Stemler Tartar, whatever you want to call it. Stemler Tartar bow. Tartar, I think it's Tartar. That sounds more appropriate for a bow name. This was my grandfather's that he gave to me. He barely shot it, so it was in really good condition. And I've been shooting this as my recurve. I'm going to shoot this until he's no longer with us, and then once he's no longer with us, this is going to be hung up on the wall, and I'm going to go buy a new recurve because I don't want to like damage this and then not have it when he's no longer here. But he's still here to see me shoot it and see me enjoy it, and then when he's no longer here, it gets hung up on the wall as a remembrance of him. My grandfather's actually like one of my biggest supporters of my videos. He comes in and he's funny. He calls them a blog. I think he knows it's called a vlog, but he calls it a blog. He thinks it's funny. He comes in when I go over to help him like take out their trash or whatever, because he has Parkinson's. And my grandma and him have both had a lot of medical issues over the last couple of years, so they aren't very mobile. I help him with a lot of stuff. When I come in, he's like, "Oh, you got any new blogs up there?" And then I show him stuff. So anytime he gets to see me shoot the bow, he really enjoys it. So I'm no good with the recurve. I'm pretty decent with the recurve. I mean, that's where I started. Started with this, then moved to the compound. So pretty decent. Mark's in. Hey, Mark. We're just about to close down. We were doing some archery shooting, talking about the new bow that I'm going to get on Thursday. And yeah, just talking about some archery stuff. I had to go out. Good to see you again. Yeah, good to see you too, Mark. Mark, you'll be excited about this from my conversations with you. I've been tirelessly working on my gold panning video. My first experience is gold panning, but that video has been taking forever. So I took a hiatus from that. I spent a couple hours the last week or so working on my Tennessee fishing video. That video is going out tomorrow. Then we're getting back to gold panning video. So my next two long form videos should be stuff you like, fishing and gold panning, which I know is what you do. So next two videos on the channel, two long form videos on the channel should be right up your alley. I really like watching you shoot his bow as well. Yeah, I love shooting his bow. It's a very smooth bow. Like, I mean, they made them well. This is not, back in the day, this was not an expensive bow. And it's not like a highly sought after bow nowadays, but I mean, it shoots darn well. Um, Handles really comfortable, 40-pound recurve, shoots really well. And I really enjoy him, and I really enjoy that he gets to see it still get use even all this time later. Um, it's really something special for me to talk about shooting his bow. I mean, the more special thing, which I've talked about this on the channel as well, is that the truck I drive was his. Obviously, I said he has Parkinson's, so he can't drive it anymore. When I got my permit, they were about to sell the truck, and then my grandma and grandpa decided, let's wait until he gets his license and give it to him. So I was gifted my truck. I didn't pay a darn thing for it. It was his. And he always checks in like, oh, how's it driving? And I go on adventures with it and update him. And I do a lot of yard work on the side for people. That's how I make a lot of my money. I teach trumpet lessons, do yard work, do dog sitting. And then I have a job with the township, but I only do like per diem work nowadays with them. So a lot of my work comes from yard work, and without the truck, there's a lot of stuff I just couldn't do. So telling him like how appreciative I am of the truck and seeing him get excited about that is really special to me. It's something we can bond over, because I mean, it's not often that someone just gives you a vehicle, let alone gives you a truck. That thing is a 2006 truck, and obviously anybody who has a truck knows that they hold value pretty well. I could sell it today for $12,000, and it's 19 years old, and it still would sell for $12,000. Like it's not a, oh yeah, I'll give you my old knife. Like, he gave me his darn truck, so I obviously really appreciate him for that. I'll go put this back up on the wall. Yeah. And then I'm living at home, so a lot of the stuff you see on the channel won't change much, but I'm going to college. My first day of college is, I'm going to be a freshman in college. My first day of college is this upcoming Monday. So we're almost there, but I'm commuting. The only thing I'm going to need, because we're not paying room and board, is tires, and my grandparents are going to help out with the tires for the truck as well. Tires don't have many miles on them, like probably only 15,000, but they're like 9-year-old tires, because, you know, as he got older, he didn't drive it as much and that sort of thing. So don't have a ton of miles, but they're old, so we're going to still have to replace the tires, which is a big purchase, but my grandparents are going to help out as well. I'm always appreciative of all the wisdom that they've imparted, all the stuff that they've, you know, helped me do throughout the years, all the support they've given me, more than anything, but also as well the fact that they helped me out with my goals too, financially. So he is a great man. He's a really cool guy. My parents are coming in from a walk, so I'm going to move out here so they don't have to walk in front of the camera. I'm about to close down the live. My dad walks by, goes, he's like, I don't know. Same thing with my parents. My parents are great too. I have a really good, supportive family. It's awesome. I'm very blessed. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody for coming in. I'm probably going to close this down. As I said, I got to finish up that video so I can get it out to you guys tomorrow. I've got a busy day tomorrow, too. I got some work from my dad. My dad's an engineer, and I'm going into college for engineering. So I'm doing some like almost paid internship work for him, helping him out, making some installation videos of the products that he makes and designs for his clients, because they often call him and have questions. And he's like, if he could just show them a video, because with all the common answers to these questions of how to install something, it'd be easy. So I'm using my video editing skills and learning about some of the stuff that he engineers at the same time to produce these videos for him, for his customers. I've been working on that for the past couple weeks. I got to do more work on that tomorrow. I have two yard work jobs that I got to at least look at tomorrow. And then in the afternoon, I'm taking 2 young boys from my church fishing. They've been asking to go fishing all summer, and I said, I promise I'll do it before I go back to college. So I'm definitely going to have some fun with them. I believe are they 5-8? I think it's 5-8. No, 6-8. 6-8. I'm pretty sure. Could be wrong, but I think it's 6-8. So I'm gonna take them fishing tomorrow for a couple hours after I get done my yard work and stuff for my dad, and then we're gonna have a video premiere tomorrow. So I got plenty of stuff to do. I appreciate you guys coming in, but I can't be live forever. Your grandfather sounds awesome. He's awesome. As I said, I'm very blessed to have two awesome sets of grandparents. My aunts and uncles are all great. There's very few bad eggs in my family, and that's a blessing. It really is. It's awesome. Great live stream. Wishing you a blessed evening. Hey Bob, you're coming in right at the tail end. We did some archery, some chucked around my Atlatl, and then talked about some of the stuff that I'm looking at as far as Thursday. I'm going to go in and buy the new bow on the way up to help my girlfriend move into her dorm from Lancaster Archery. So we were talking about some of the criteria for the brand new bow that I'm getting. So yeah. Sorry I can't come with you guys on Wednesday to the shore. That'd be awesome. But as I said, I got lots of work to do before I go up there on Thursday, and then late night on Wednesday, turning around early morning Thursday would be kind of tough. So yeah, thanks for coming in, guys. I appreciate everyone stopping in. Have a good night. Bob, I will be probably playing your lives from on Wednesday in the background as I'm working. So stay tuned for that. I'll be watching in the background. I'm excited to see what you do. And I got to get my Gyutaku of that dogfish to you at some point. So we definitely have to fish again soon. All right, everyone. I'll say it again. Thanks for coming in. I always appreciate it. It was an awesome talk about archery stuff tonight. And yeah, I'll see you later. Got stuff to do. Adios.